Hello everyone, it's Shanna Makes It, and I'm part of the creative crew for Cat Scrappiness. Now today I'm just working on busting up these scraps. I've got these scraps from the Birthday Quokka paper pad, and I'm going to use some of the stamps from the Birthday Quokka set and the dies, and I'm going to use this 3D box from 3D Square Box Craft Die. And we're just going to build a card, and we're just using the scraps that I have in my craft room. Now you can see I've got a scrap there that has some die cut pieces out of the bottom of it. And I'm going to lay this down on there and cut my box out with this brown cardstock. And I'm just going to die cut my box out, and then we got to do the sides to the box as well. I flipped my die cutting machine around because I'm right-handed and I needed to have it so I could roll it. Anyway, I'm going to grab that other scrap and lay these down on there, and I'm not going to notice at the time that a corner of the box is not going to die cut out right, and I'll have to redo it later, but we'll solve that problem when we figure it out. So I put that die up, and I'm going to bring my die away, and what I'm going to do is use all of these scraps here that I have, and I'm going to stamp my balloons on these so that I'll have multicolored balloons for my card. We're making a happy birthday card, and I'm going to use just my acrylic block. I didn't drag out my Misty, and I'm just going to stamp all of these pattern papers up with a balloon, and then we'll die cut them out as well. And it stamped great. I didn't need my Misty for this, and so I decided I would just stamp everything with the acrylic block since I had it there handy. And I've got ink on my hand, so I got a little bit of ink on that paper, but I'll have to clean them off later. And we've got all 4 of our balloons stamped up. And then I'm going to bring in my alcohol ink and just spray that and just wipe it off, clean off my fingers and get all that ink cleaned up. We'll get that balloon put away. And I'm going to bring in the little party hat, and I'm going to ink it up, and I'm going to use, it kind of has like little circles on it, so I thought I would just stamp it on that circle patterned cardstock there, and we die cut it out of that. And then I'm going to bring in my happy birthday banner, and I was checking to see if it would fit on my acrylic block, and it'll just fit. This is the only acrylic block I have, just that size. It's the only one I have. And then I'm going to use this scrap yellow paper that I had in my scrap bin and just stamp down my cinnamon on there, and we'll get that cleaned up and put away. And then I thought I was going to die cut it out, and then I thought, no, I've got one more thing to stamp, so I'm going to bring in a piece of scrap white cardstock and just pick up my Quokka, and we'll ink it up and get it stamped down. And it's stamped down great too, so I was good to go. Now I just need to get all my dies out and get them taped down, and then we'll go to the die cutting machine and make multiple passes through the die cutting machine and get all of this die cut out. So I'll just speed this up real quick, and then we'll come back. So we've got all of our die cutting done, and I just need to color my Quokka. I'm just going to use 2 or 3 colors on this Quokka. I've kind of got like a light beige, and then I'll bring in a darker one, and we'll just get him all colored up really quickly, and we'll do a little bit of shading on him, and then we'll bring in a little pink for his little tongue, and then that'll pretty much finish him off. It's a pretty quick color. So I'm just laying my lightest color down, and then I'm going to bring in my second color. And normally I'll use 3, but I didn't really need them for this, so I'm just going to use the 2 and just add some shading to kind of the furry areas and underneath his chin, and just anywhere that there's a little etching or a little stamped area there that indicates it's a little bit darker. And then I'll just take the lighter color and blend back over it and just blend everything together. And then we'll just grab a little pink color. I'm going to touch up his nose area, and we'll bring a little bit more blending in there. I could see some spots that I'd missed. And I'm just going to grab a little pink color for his little tongue, and we'll just very lightly touch that, and then that'll pretty much finish up the coloring on our Quokka. So I'm just going to bring in my pattern cardstock there, and you can see it's got the circle bubbly thing, and that scrap was actually longer than 5.5, and I didn't realize that, so I'm going to have to cut it down, and we'll just lay it down on our card base, and then we'll begin building our card. And I got to get it lined up there. And now I've got my little cardboard box, and I kind of made it to where it was just going to be a cardboard box. Then I realized that as I'm looking at this, I'm like, something's wrong. And then I realized that when I used that scrap piece that had a piece cut out on there, it took off the corner of it. And so I didn't want to use it. And so then, yeah, I'm looking for the piece that I die cut it from to see what happened. And yeah, it did. So I'm going to bring in some more scrap, and I'll just bring in, right now I'm kind of positioning everything to see how I want this all to come together and to decide what color scrap I want to bring in. And so I take a minute and kind of look through my scraps, and I found another piece of that yellow that I cut the banner out, and I thought I would just use it for this. Now my box isn't going to be, I'm going to have the cardboard on the back, and I'm going to have the this yellow on the front, and so I'm, it's not going to match, but I'm going to pretend like it's wrapping paper and that they've ripped the wrapping paper off one side but not the other side. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And I'm going to do something crazy at the end, a little risky, and you'll see what I'm going to do. So let's get all this stuff laid down, and then we'll come back to that little risk I take on my finished card. Anyway, so we're going to lay this down and line it up, and then we'll lay the other. And these are etched so that you can flip it down so that it can look like your box is 3D and it's open. And I'm just going to slide my little Quokka right down there in the center of it and figure out where I want it. And I'm not sure what I'm doing right now. I think I was lining up the bottom. I don't think it was quite lined up. And I'm just kind of positioning it. And I'm going to put my little party hat on my Quokka after I get it glued down here. And I'll just add some foam tape. I've got some real thin strips, and I'm just going to take a piece of it and double it up because it's not quite thick enough. And then I'll put my party hat on there, and then it'll set on top of my Quokka's head. And it'll be cute. And now I'm just going to figure out where I want my balloons, and I need to shove them down in there before it gets good and glued down. And I'll just arrange them how I want them. Some of them I'm going to lay flat, some of them I'm going to pop up, and that'll give us some dimension. So I'll tuck the blue one back behind there, and I decide that I'm going to pop up this circle dot one, and I'll pop up the red one as well. And we'll just kind of cluster them together in 3 balloons on one side. And I'm just going to tuck it down in there and bring in some more foam tape. We'll pop this one up, put a little glue on the stem, tuck it in, and I think those look cute. But I've got this other one, and I know I probably should do odd numbers, but I thought I've got it die cut out. I'm using that scrap. I'm going to trim the, I'll wind up trimming the string down on the bow and sticking it on the left side and tucking it down low, like it hasn't fully come out of the box yet. And there we go. And now I'm looking at this, and I'm thinking that I want to pop it up as well, and that way I have dimension. And I'm going to play with that sentiment a little bit and figure out how I want to get it laid down on there. I was thinking about maybe putting something behind it to make it stand out more, but then I wind up deciding not to do that. I kind of just angle it on my card base, and I like how that turns out. But I'm still kind of fooling around with scraps trying to decide what to do, and there's where I decide to angle it, and I like it like that. And so I'm just going to angle it across my card base and glue it flat down after I drop it. And I got to clean up the glue that I kind of spread around there. And then I'm thinking this box just looks plain. I'm like, it really looks plain. And I'm like, wait a minute. I've got a stencil that matches this. I've got a stencil that kind of matches this set. And I'm going to use it. It's called Confetti Party. And so I'm looking for it. I'm going to bring it in. And this is kind of crazy because I've got my card finished, and here I'm going to do some stenciling on here. So I'm going to bring another scrap in and kind of protect all of my areas that I've already got laid down on there. And I'm just going to stencil this box with this Confetti Party stencil. And I've just got some orange. I thought that would look nice. Bring in another color and just hold the stencil down on there. And then I'm going to flip these edges down, and I'll do one edge at a time and just try to keep it real clean. And then we'll flip the other one down, move the little white piece of paper that's protecting my Quokka, and stencil on that. And I wasn't satisfied with the bottom of that box, so I'm going to lay it down there, cover it up, and put some more stenciling on that left edge there. And that'll pretty much finish it up. It's kind of risky to stencil on pieces that are already on your card base, but it worked out. So now I'm going to grab some of my Cat Scrappiness enamel dots, and I've got these golden yellow ones, and I'm just going to lay some of these down on there, and this will finish up my card. And I hope this has inspired you to use some of your scraps. I have been working toward busting up my scraps, and I thought I would try to make a card with just my scraps. And so that's what I did, and I hope you like it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.